So if your pot or icon is broken, if you drop it or it breaks for whatever reason, isn't again not purpose or anything like that, or if you wish to dispose of it, like I said before, go ahead and consult with your owl to see what to do. If it's like if it breaks, like you drop it or something like that, it's probably okay to just get another tool and put it in there. But again, check with your owl. Don't just do it on your own because it could be something else going on with it. I got a question here. Is negative talking current occurs as well? Yes, and thank you for that question. So she's asking, like, is talking against that pot, even so cursing the pot, using profanity, cursing the Orisha or something like that. Yes, that will be cursed. You do not want to do those things, okay? And I think that's what you're saying. You don't want to do any of those things. Any type of way that you profane a sacred object, you want to be very, very careful there because it can incur cursing. You don't want that on your head and you don't want that on the head of those around you. This is why I always say, make sure you're in a position to accept an Orisha pot, even if it's something that you desire. If you're living with somebody, if you're in a position where it is not the best thing for you to maintain an Orisha pot, you may want to just rethink that until you're in your own space, okay? Because I've seen that in so many different scenarios, right? Sometimes people want to go into the tradition, their family is not with it. So their family wants to, cause problems for them. They go and they, do all kind of crazy stuff to the Orisha pots and they cause themselves some problems. Like I've even seen a scenario where somebody ended up in jail after they desecrated an Orisha pot. All right. So just be careful with that. Orisha pots can be blessed for children, but it's generally not necessary unless it's like revealed through Ifa divination. Maybe the child is having a special issue and like they need a pot and they need to be working with it themselves. But again, usually you probably don't want to get an Orisha pot for a child just because they're not ready to work with it yet. When they become of age and they know that that is what they want, even then, like if they're under the age of majority, I just advise you to wait. Even if you got a teenager who's like, I really, really want to do this or what have you, we all know how fickle teenagers can be. And so they may be interested at the moment because they see you doing it, or they may see something online, their friends, etc. And they want to jump into it and they get a pot or something and they start working with it for like a month or two. And the next thing you know, they begin to neglect it. It is not a good idea because again, it goes back to that scenario, like, the battery draining out. So they can always go to your pot or what have you and pray and give offerings and things like that at your pot if you have a consecrated one. Orisha pots cannot be consecrated in multiple people's names. So usually it's only going to be consecrated in one person's name. When it comes to community settings, they can do that for an entire community and in the name of the community. It's very, very common in traditional areas. But when it comes to a family group, it's going to be consecrated in the name of one person, usually the elder in the family. And again, everybody can go to it and pray and give offerings and things like that. So you don't really need one for the whole family, right? So I would think twice about doing that if you're trying to get something for everybody in the family. Okay, and people can feed Orisha pots on your behalf. I feed my pots all the time on behalf of my children and my husband and things like that. So definitely. Got another question. How about in regard to envy, where one person is jealous of the connection the other person has with their Orisha, wishes that they had the same connection with their own. So, wishing that you had the same connection that somebody else's have, there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually a good thing. Now, if it's to a point where you want something negative to happen to somebody else because you don't have that connection to your Orisha that they have with theirs, yeah, you need to check that, because then that's a problem. You're out of your pellet at that point, right? But it's great to admire somebody who has a strong connection, because that's going to strengthen and encourage you to get that same level of connection. Where you fall off is where you start to wish that they don't have that connection, or you want something bad or negative to happen to them because of the connection that they have with their Orisha. So you need to go and get some elbow done. You or whoever it applies to, maybe not be you specifically, but if this is going on, that person is dealing with some other things that they don't need to be dealing with at that moment. How having that Orisha pie assists you with your destiny, things like that. So, first and foremost, they're going to provide you with that divine level of guidance and protection. The more you interact with it, the stronger your connection gets with the Orisha, okay? The more protection you have is very similar to working with Elekis, as I said before. The more you wear your Elekis, the more protection you're going to have in that connection as well. The more spiritual awareness that you have, the closer that you connect with a spiritual force, the more you're going to have those synchronicities. You just know things before they happen. Your intuition is heightened, things like that. Like they're always going to be protecting you, guarding you, guiding you, giving you ideas, opening up doors, opportunities, even when you're not asking for them, right? If you're just consulting with, praying to, and interacting with your Orisha pot on a regular basis, you are going to have divine blessings just follow you in and out day after day. Again, that's if you are interacting with it. I always take so much caution here, because people do want to go and get these pots and these icons and things like that. A lot of times, just to say that they have them, they bring them into their homes and they don't do anything with them. So make sure you're working with them. They're going to remove those blockages, right? Things that are set up to come against you. You don't even know that they're happening, but you're constantly interacting with your Orisha. They're just protecting you. You're just divinely protected. You find out later on, oh, this person was about to come at me and do this, or they even went and tried to do something and it backfired on them. I've had so many scenarios like that where, I've been connecting and getting deeper and closer to my spiritual forces. And all of a sudden, I learned that somebody is behind my back doing whatever they're trying to do. One point, somebody was trying to get me out of my job, out of position that I had. And they went to my boss and, told him and said all these different things about me. And he just told me about it. He didn't even come like asking me about it, like, is this true or anything like that. He didn't care what they said. He just told me about it, said this is what happened. And what he told that person was basically was to, go to, where or where they were coming from. And I definitely attribute that to me being really, really close and working with my spiritual forces, my Orishas that are guiding me and working with me and things like that. So it's a beautiful thing to have. It is something that I encourage people to get if they are ready to work with them closely. So you're asking what are the main Orishas to receive. So I did say this earlier, but I'll repeat it again here. Definitely Ifa, Eshu, your Ori icon, Aji, because she's the spirit of wealth and everybody needs their prosperity, and your Egbe Orun, because your Egbe are like this really close group of astral mates, right? So they're like your close friends in the physical world. Those are the ones that are going to be common to everybody that I encourage people to receive at some point. You don't have to get all of them at once either, right? You can do it step by step by step. Some people really need to be connected to their egg bank, so I'm going to harp on that point. And if you're considering getting a pot, an Orisha pot, an icon, or something like that, I would definitely encourage you to look into whether you should go ahead and get your egg bank first if you're not thinking about getting like EFA first or something like that. Okay, you're saying this may be off topic, but how would you know if your elekis are activated? The same thing you could ask. You can ask and see and check if they're activated the same way you would the Orisha pot. Because they actually go through the same process, right? So like I was saying before, when you're getting like the pot, you're going to receive your elections. So they are all supposed to be blessed and consecrated. You're not just getting empty items. That's why you don't just go into the store and buy, you know, this spiritual paraphernalia. You need to make sure it's activated. How do we request them? Is there like getting the hand of Ifa? Request what? Are you saying requesting elekis or are you saying requesting pots or icons? Which one? So I will this you're saying as an Ifa practitioner, having your hand of Ifa along with any other Orisha that resonates with your Ori, though you can connect to them and receive them as many as you want. Absolutely. So he's an Ifa priest. So as I said before, most people are going to say, most of the Ifa priests and priestesses are going to advise you to do Ifa first. That's normal. Ori is very important as well, right? You can have any of them, but those are the 5 most common, the ones that I did mention. But again, I would recommend that you check for your specific situation. You're talking about egg bake. So, you get egg bake the same way you would get the hand of Ifa. So you just go to your owl and tell them that you want your egg bake. They will check and see, they should check and see which class of egg bake room you belong to, because all of the egg bake pots are not the same. Because some people actually make, I have a fan for egg bake because of the class of egg bake room that I belong to. So I don't actually have the standard pot that most people get that belongs to like Iyode, or some of the other Orisha, egg bake or something like that. So you just talk to your owl and tell them like you want to get that, you want to receive that, and they should be able to walk you through the process, whatever their process is for you to receive it. The process again, when it comes to elekis, when it comes to the pot and everything, it's the same process. If you guys do want to, let me say this too, if anybody's interested in getting these objects through us, you have to contact us directly, because we do not list any pots or anything like that online. Because normally we get these out for people who we are working with, right? So people who we have some godchildren in our ELA who we are working directly with, and then some people who initiate the process with us when they get in the EFA reading or something like that. So they have direct communication with us. Whenever you work with us directly, you're going to get our phone numbers, my phone number, our this phone number, and we can have those type of conversations, but we don't list those on the website. We do have some elekis. If somebody's just interested in elekis, we do list the primary ones. I'm going to say 8, I think. I'm not sure how many, but it's a few of them that are online. But if you do want some that are outside of what we have listed, just contact us. You can DM me on Instagram for people who use that platform mostly, or you can email me support@asani44.com, and we can get those things out. We have those conversations, right? We prefer to get those types of things out for people who we are working with. It is not common that we're just going to fix you up a pot or something like that without having some type of prior knowledge and awareness of, your journey and what you want to do. Because this is an experience. It's not like you're just going to pick up something out of the mall and take it home and do whatever you want to do with it. We want to make sure that you are working with these items properly and responsibly.